Hello, welcome to my student support system. In today's class, we will discuss about muscular system. This is a vast topic and we will discuss it in different parts. Today we will discuss part 1, anatomy and physiology of muscles. This lecture is in English and if you want to study in Hindi, just click on I button and you will get link of Hindi lecture, or you can directly visit to channel My Student Support System. What are muscles? Muscles are contractile tissue. They can contract. Muscles are responsible for all types of movements of our body. Muscles are also known as machines of our body. The scientific study of muscles is known as myology. What are the functions of muscles? First one is movement. The muscular system's main function is to perform movement. When muscles contract, they help in our movement such as walking, running, swimming, and even small movements such as speaking, eating, writing, and facial expressions, etc. Next is posture. Skeletal muscles help to keep the body in correct position in sitting and standing position, or even in lying down position. In every position, our muscles are in action. Then stability of joints. Muscle tendons stretch over the joints and help in maintaining the joint stability. Next, blood circulation. The heart consists of heart muscles that pump the blood throughout our body. Smooth muscles in our artery and veins, they play further role in the circulation of blood throughout our body, and movement of muscles around big veins help to return the blood towards the heart. Then respiration. Of course, normal respiration is assisted by muscular action of intercostal muscles and diaphragm. And when someone wants to breathe more deeply, it requires help from other muscles, including those in the abdomen, back, and neck. Digestion. The process of digestion starts in the mouth, and muscles of mastication help in making the bolus, and tongue pushes it inside. So these all are muscles which are in action. Peristalsis movement, which is continuously uh, pushing the food in the GIT. This is also with help of muscles. Smooth muscles are there in our GIT. So everywhere, all movements, even in digestion, they take place with the help of muscles. Next, even urination. Smooth muscles in the urinary bladder, they contract and push the urine outside through the urethra. Childbirth process. Muscles in the uterus, they help in pushing the baby out. Pelvic floor muscles also help in the process of childbirth. Even vision. There are 6 skeletal muscles around eyes. They help in moving the eyes left, right, up, down. Even rotation of our eye. These movements are carried out by the muscles. Then temperature regulation. Almost 85% of heat is generated by the muscles of our body. So these are the main functions of our skeletal system or muscles. Now, what are the classification of muscles? So in human body, there are 3 types of muscles: skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. What are skeletal muscles? Each of the skeletal muscle is a separate organ composed of hundreds or thousands of cells, which are called muscle fibers because of their elongated shape. This is the muscle fiber. This type of muscle is also called as voluntary muscle because they are under our voluntary control. We can move our hand because we can control them. So these are skeletal muscle are also called as voluntary muscles. A skeletal muscle consists of large number of muscle fibers. The entire muscle is covered in a connective tissue sheath that is called epimysium. And within the muscle, the cells are collected into small bundles, and these are called as fascicles or fascias. And each fascicle is covered in its own connective tissue, and that is called perimysium. And within the fascicles, there are individual muscle cell or fiber, and each is wrapped in a fine connective tissue layer that is called endomysium. So you can understand this by this picture that this is a muscle fiber, and around this fiber there is endomysium, and this is collected in bundles which are enveloped or wrapped by perimysium, and then some bundles forms the whole muscle, and this muscle is covered by epimysium. So this is the basic structure of a skeletal muscle. The connective tissue covering blend together with each other of the muscle and form the tendon, and this tendon connects the muscle to the bone. So where the muscle is connected to the bone, that part is known as tendon, and normally it is whitish in color because it is made up of white collagen fibers. Often the tendon is rope like a thread, but sometimes it takes the form of a broad sheet, and this sheet is called as aponeurosis. The most important component of the skeletal muscle are the muscle fiber. The diameter of a mature skeletal muscle fiber ranges from 10 to 100 micrometer, and the typical length of the mature skeletal muscle fiber is about 10 centimeter, although some are as long as 30 centimeter also. The muscle cells are roughly cylindrical in shape, laying parallel to one another with a distinctive banded appearance, consisting of alternate dark and light strips. So this is dark strip, light strip, dark strip. In this way, the muscle fiber is formed, individual muscle fiber. The multiple nuclei of skeletal muscle fiber are located just beneath the sarcolema. What is sarcolema? The plasma membrane of muscle cell is known as sarcolema. And within the sarcolema, there is sarcoplasm, the cytoplasm of muscle cell. The contractile element of the muscle fiber are myofibrils. They are within the sarcoplasm, and they are overlapping fashion, thick and thin filaments, and both are made up of proteins. Overall, there are two thin filaments for each thick filament. Okay, so thick filament and then thin filament, they are like this. Okay, so overlapping. The two contractile protein in the muscle are myocin and actin. Actin and myocin, two contractile proteins are there by which these fibers are made up. Or we can say these proteins are main component of these muscle fibers, thick and thin fibers. One set of this system is known as sarcomere. A sarcomere extends from one Z disc to the next. So what is the set? Thick and thin band, and the whole band becomes a sarcomere, and many sarcomeres are there in the muscle fibers. The skeletal muscle contracts in response to stimulation from the nerve fiber. Muscle contraction occur because myosin head attaches and walk along the thin filament like this, and at both ends of the sarcomere, pulling the thin filament towards the M line. So these are thin filaments, and these are thick filaments. So they move like this. Okay. So the length of fiber do not change. Just they move like this, and the whole fiber is pulled towards the Z disc. So the sarcomere is shortened, and there are many sarcomeres. So in this way, whole muscle is contracted. Keep in mind, the fibers are not contracting, they are just moving. Sarcomere is contracting due to movement of these fibers, and finally the whole muscle is shortened. So this is the system of muscle contraction. As the thin filaments slide inwards, the Z disc come together and sarcomere shorten. That just I have told to you. The length of the individual thick and thin filament is not changing. Again, I am explaining to you. Keep in mind, shortening of sarcomere is the main factor which leads to shortening of the muscle or contracting of the muscle. Now we come to smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are not under our control. So these are also known as involuntary muscles. The muscle cells are small. They are not like a thread as we have discussed in the skeletal muscle, and these are individual having one nucleus, while skeletal muscles were multinucleus. Smooth muscle forms sheet in the wall of the hollow organs inside our body, and the tubular structures to regulate the diameter and to propel the substances. So they are found in the GIT, in the blood vessels, in the lymph vessels, and so on. All internal organs contains smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are normally innervated or supplied by the branches of autonomic nervous system. So they are under control of autonomic nervous system, and this system controls the movement of these muscles. And third type of muscle is cardiac muscle. The myocardium, the main component of heart, is composed of specialized cardiac muscles, and these muscles are found only in the heart. It is again not under voluntary control, but the shape or structure is like skeletal muscle. They have strips on there, as we have seen in the skeletal muscles. Each fiber or cell has a nucleus, and sometimes these fibers are branched or sometimes non-branched. Cardiac muscle cell appears striated, in striations are there, bends are there. Under the microscope these can be seen, and these strips occur due to alternating filaments that comprise of myocin and actin, as we have seen in the skeletal muscles. And there are intercalated discs that connect each fiber or uh, branched fiber to the next fiber, and there is the gap junction. This gap junction is known as interlaced disc, and these discs they relay the electric impulses from one muscle to another, and this transmission is very fast. Physiology of contraction of cardiac muscle is same as skeletal muscles because they have the same filaments, but they are not under voluntary control. They have self-rhythmic power supported by heart pacemakers. Rhythm is also affected by autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic stimulations. Thank you students for watching this video. You can subscribe the channel for latest updates and upcoming videos of muscular system. You can like Facebook page, and for making your notes visit mynursingstudents.blogspot.com. You can follow me on Twitter Instagram, and you can join Facebook group Nursing Notes. Thank you. Have a nice day.